William Regal has been granted his release from AEW. Little is known still somehow about the contract. It was either 1 year or 3 years, or he was released early. That's all we know. Tony Khan recently said, I got a phone call and it was saying that William Regal was approached by Mega Parek, your favourite name from a few months ago. And it was all very legitimate, valid stuff. Basically, he's got a son who works at another wrestling promotion, and he really wanted us at the end of the year. Apparently, that's what he said. When we had the option to renew the contract, he was asking that we would not. Nothing bad. We were having a great time working together, but this was an opportunity for him to get back and work in his golden years of his career with his son. So Regal has gone from AEW.
Well, there was a lot of misinformation. That's the word people like to use now. About he wasn't happy there from the beginning. They said he wasn't happy because he saw what a mess it was backstage, and I can see that. I was at TNA, and I saw a lot of messes. Nobody was really in charge, and I think might be the situation with Tony and the company and the executive vice presidents. Everybody thinks they're in charge of something, I guess. I can't speak with authority. But Regal, I think his son is in the Performance Center in Orlando. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to help his son, and I don't blame him there either. And I think Tony was probably sympathetic with that wish, which I'm glad he was, because now Regal can help his son and see what his son can do, because he's got a great teacher in just his dad. So if he listened to the rest of that, I mean, the guy may have a huge career in front of him. So, but you hear all these things about Tony Khan and that he is a big fan, and he is a big fan. So, and he's playing with it. I don't know if he's playing with it, because he's put a couple $100 million in that. So,
well, his dad's money.
Well, he's got money too. I don't know if he's got a couple $100 million.
No, I believe that his dad actually came out and said, "Hey, look, why keep the money until I'm dead? Give the money to some of the money to the kids. Let them have fun with it." So that's where the investment for AEW's come from.
Okay, well, and that's what he did. He likes wrestling. It's like almost a wrestling game, but with real wrestlers. But in looking at his show, there's it has a lot of issues. But if he would work on that, or if he would listen to anybody, one of my biggest complaints about AEW is their interviews backstage. They look like a ninth grader shot it. No lights. And they're talking about something. You don't know what they're talking about. They don't take time to explain stuff. But if you just want to watch wrestling, it's a pretty decent wrestling show, really. They have some really, really good stuff on there.
I'm going to bring up something as well. So they had Regal, or, this was known since almost probably like September that Regal was probably going to go. And I think Regal's going to be under contract until maybe the end of this year. And they had months to write Regal off television. So instead what they do is, for no reason, Regal screws Jon Moxley out of the AEW Championship. And then the explanation was Regal did a pre-tape interview from a couple of weeks ago and said, "Yeah, I was teaching Jon Moxley a lesson. All right, see ya." And that was it. And he's never going to be seen on TV again. And that was the entire explanation. And I've written the example here. It's like when when WWF gave Jerry Lawler 24 hours to get rid of The Rock off TV, he came up with a great storyline. And Jim Cornette OVW WWE issues as well, where they just take people out, with 2 days' notice, and you have to come up with a creative storyline. So why can't Tony Khan? He's got months. He had months to come up with something creative to write him off TV, and then he didn't.
Well, I don't know if he had months. He may have, but I think he's got a lot on his plate. He's booking 3 shows. He's booking Dynamite, Rampage. He's doing one more, isn't he?
Ring of Honor. He's booking
Ring of Honor, but they don't have an outlet yet, right?
They will be having it soon. I didn't even write this down in the news. So he boasted, we're going to have some distribution soon. And it turns out Ring of Honor's distribution is on Ring of Honor's Honor Club, which...
What is that?
Well, it's like their version of the WWE network, and I can't imagine many thousands of people subscribe to it.
Well, see, Ring of Honor, to me, I never really watched it. Ring of Honor had the one announcer, right? Kevin Kelly, for a long time.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the show.
It was badly lit. I remember that.
Well, it did look like it was recorded, taped in a high school gym. And again, the production qualities of it was bad, which a lot of stations would turn it down just on that. If it's not produced well, they won't have it on their show. And that's the difference between AEW and WWE. You look at WWE, it's like a Broadway musical. I mean, they don't miss anything. You got the lights and the music and coming down the aisle and the shots and the spotlights and this and the announcers. But in AEW, they open up sometime with a match in the ring, which I kind of like sometimes. But give me the cold open. But sometimes you don't even get that. A lot of difference between the two shows, but I do think both of Tony's shows could be vastly improved if he would just made a few corrections.
One more thing to mention is that Regal's deal to get out of his AEW contract early was that he'd go to WWE and work in a backstage capacity only. He couldn't be on TV.